All right, so you're ready to record your first podcast. Do you have a microphone? Who's going to distribute for you? Do you have a studio? What about the editing? All right, everyone relax because I think I have the answer. Anchor app. Yeah, Anchor. It's free. They distribute Spotify, Apple, many more. There's creation tools that allow you to edit and create your podcast from your phone, your laptop, or your personal computer. And the best thing of all, girl, you can make money no matter how many listeners you have. So the answer is simple. Get Anchor. Anchor FM app. Go find it now. Tell them a seat at the table sent you.
Oh, spicy meatballs and a pepperoni with a spicy anchovy. Yes, that's why I have a lit podcast. Listen, all right? I'm not always here when you call, but I'm always on time. And I've pretty much given you my all, so won't you be mine? Welcome to an all-new episode of A Seat at the Table podcast. Yes, we're late, but hey, if it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno's, okay, bitch? And you are getting a DiGiorno's type of podcast today. Woo! Cue the round of applause. I am your hostess with the mostest, Gail. You can find us, A Seat at the Table Pod, all one word on Instagram. You can find me at Galanda Adams on Twitter. That is G-A-I-L. Did I spell G-A-I-L-A-N-D-O-A-D-A-M-S? You know, and I don't believe that I just spelled that right. I believe I spelled that wrong. But you would think that after 40 years of spelling and writing my name that I would know how to spell and write said name. But no, I don't. So we're going to try that again. At Galanda, that is G-A-I-L-O-N-D-A-A-D-A-M-S, Galanda Adams. And you could come and tap on my Instagram private door, but you know, why bother? So much going on this week. All right. Now, normally I let you go first, but I think I should go first this week. But, how's the second week of the new year going? I could see that your wig looks a little bit tethered. Wait, that's okay. I could see that you haven't put a mask on that face. Looks like you got a lot of dead skin popping off there. And looks like you're still trying to fake it till you make it, but that's okay. That's what we're going to do. We are going to slip slide. Speaking of Trick Daddy, slip slide right into this week. We're going to be fine. Everything's fine. Everything is going to be fine. All right. Me first. So after what felt like a grueling week of just me, I still am going on interviews, but you know what? I'm choosing to look at this from the bright side. If your girl is interviewing, that means that people are interested. It's just like dating. If you're still dating, that means that people are still interested. It is when you are no longer dating and no one's asking you out that you need to be a little bit worried. But I'm still being courted, so you know, it's all good. Other than that, this week was actually a pretty uneventful week, if I do say so myself. I didn't really have much going on. However, we're going to get to some real tea in a minute. But I didn't really have too much going on outside of just said interviews and just like, you know, just kind of like really getting into just this week. And I don't know if I shared with you guys, but my grandmother passed away 2 days after the Christmas holiday, or it might have actually only been one day. And she was 101. So that to me in and of itself was a blessing. I am preparing to go with my family down to where she had resided, and we are going to lay her to rest. So there's just been a lot of planning with that, and just, kind of wrapping my mind around it. I am supposed to give a 2 minutes, I guess not eulogy, but like talking point for myself as well as the other grandkids. I don't know how I got nominated for this, but pray my strength, okay? Because I really hate funerals. I hate I kind of find them as this fest for everyone who's still here, but I think that people oftentimes, in my personal opinion, get so wrapped up in their own sense of guilt and whatever else that they feel on a very egoic level of, losing someone. There is a mourning that happens, but and I get all of that. I think that as I'm getting older, though, the idea that, you're coming from one place and to that place you shall return is, not lost on me. And it's also something that, like, I guess, like, in terms of viewing it with this great amount of sorrow, I almost view it as like, I don't know, it's almost like beautiful, like just like the entire circle of life, right? So I'm really excited about that. Thank you guys also for tuning in to not only last week's episode, but also tuning in to the Awakened Soul podcast last week, which I was featured on. Shout out to Mr. Hayes. Thank you so much. And look for me to not only be including guests on a Seat at the Table podcast, but also to be guesting on a couple of different shows out here. So I will keep you guys posted, and thank you guys so much for supporting not only my show, but the shows of podcasters by and large. Let's see. Okay, so remember I was talking about my ex last week, you guys? So guess who I saw this week? Yes, the ex. Normally when I see this ex, and for those of you who know anything about me and who have been listeners of this show, you know that this is someone that I had a really devastating ending to our relationship, not because the relationship ended, but kind of more because of the format to which it ended. There was a little bit of some domestication that happened and some bullshit. So I just, it's been a long time and a long time reckoning for us to have the conversation that we had. And yeah, I don't even know how I feel truly about the conversation just yet, because I do feel like, okay. Well, we talked a lot about the situation as it occurred, and I don't want to, go ahead and give you guys the play-by-play again. But if you are a listener of this show and have been a listener of this show, you can go back to some episodes ago. This was more than a year ago. This was probably, at this point, almost 2 years ago, that this situation occurred between us. And we have not really had an in-depth conversation since. We've seen each other, but definitely not like, let's have a conversation. I mean, this is someone who physically assaulted me, so I was not looking to have a conversation. But I think that after therapy and the elapsing of some time and the evolving of my own ego and mine, I have been able to, not only see this person, but I guess get to the point that we did this week, which was to have a conversation about what had happened. And here are some points that I picked up. Number one, if you realize that, in the process of you evolving in life, because here's the thing, right? I don't think that it's ever a good thing for someone to see you and say, oh my God, you're exactly the same. God, nothing has changed about you. I think there's one aspect and component in terms of when someone actually physically sees you and they say, oh my God, you look the same. You look as young as you did whenever or whatever. I think that there is that aspect, but I think that like after talking to someone that you've known for a while but have not had contact with in a while, I don't think that it is a good thing for someone to say, oh my God, you're exactly the same. I think that people should be able to see that you are not stuck in a period of time and you are allowing life to evolve. Therefore, you may not be the same in certain aspects, and that's okay. I think that's what we want out of life. I think the refusal to evolve is a refusal to acknowledge that time is passing and that God is still kind of doing a good work in you, if any work at all. So, I say that to say that he has not changed. At least in my opinion, I don't really think that I saw a lot of change, which is kind of devastating because when you go through stuff like that, I don't know. I feel like if there's nothing that has changed about you, this was all for nothing. You know, like if you haven't evolved over, you know, the dramatists of a situation, if you're exactly the same and nothing about you has changed, I feel like whatever drama it is that you've gone through, it's like for naught. It's for nothing. So that kind of sucked. But outside of that, I think the other thing that I got from this, point number B, is, is that I am okay. You know, I'm all right. As a matter of fact, I'm good. You know, I think that is to be expected, that people ebb and flow from, especially people who have, who struggle with anxiety or depression or anger or, you know, whatever mental, because, one of the things I want to acknowledge is a lot of times we talk about, because I am the one who suffers with, depression and anxiety. And I know that many of you guys who are listening suffer with your own battles of mental health, whether it be anger or, behaviors of, kind of malfunctioning behaviors as it pertains to, you know, the ever evolving of oneself, procrastination, all these other things, these kind of, self-deprecating, behaviors that only serve to ruin you. But at any rate, even though, you know, he slay me, I'm good, you know, and I feel good, and I feel like, you know, I'm here, and I don't ever take for granted the evolutionary process and how important that is, to one's growth, not only spiritually, but mentally. So thank you guys so much for supporting and for listening. And for those of you, again, who know the story, know that I mean, truthfully, this is a big deal. So, all right. So, what has been going on with you? How was work? How were the things? How was the thing and the thing and the thing? Yeah. Have you been going to the gym at all? Are you taking care of your body? Or are you just saying, fuck it? Because here's the thing. You know, did we get into this week? This whole Jillian Michaels things? Let's just go on ahead and climb right into it then, why don't we? So this week, Jillian Michaels appeared on a numerous amount of talk shows, which included Wendy Williams, as well as, I believe, NBC, some other talk shows. And she was asked, about her opinion. Now, let's get this together. The woman was asked. It wasn't like she just came out here and started talking about Lizzo. She was asked. And anyway, she was asked about Lizzo. Now, if you don't know, Jillian Michaels is a fitness expert who has taken part in a numerous amount of fitness television shows. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't she a part of The Biggest Loser at some point? She's known for her for her cutting ways and procedural trainings to weight loss. She can be a little bit of a bitch if we're going to call a spade, you know what I mean? And, yeah, she's also, I guess, embarking on another